White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki laughing off Americans' concerns about crime.
Now a furious National Police Union demanding an apology. Joining us live, as always, on a Tuesday, Fox Nation host Tomi Lahren. Tomi, great to see you, as always, despite the overwhelming evidence of crime ravaging our cities and, quite frankly, our country on the whole. Why does Jen Psaki and this White House continue to remain blind to what victims throughout our nation are going through?
Well, a couple things, Todd. One, it's a huge political liability. And number two, they're not seeing it firsthand. They have private security, probably the best security in the world, so it doesn't really touch and affect them. But what I would say to Jen Psaki, if she's confused what soft on crime policies are, she should go to any American city, especially a Democrat-run major city, and she should see it firsthand. And I can name just a few things she should be looking for. They defund and demonize the police movement, crime reclassification, crime realignment, no cash bail, catch and release, which is happening not only in American cities, but at our lawless southern border. So if she goes there, she can take a look firsthand and see exactly the lawlessness and the soft on crime policies that we're talking about here on Fox News and really in every major city across the United States, both Republicans and Democrats. And then if she really wants to have some fun, she should lock arms with our Vice President Kamala Harris and go right on down to that southern border to see more of the lawlessness. And then I think that she would know what we were talking about.
Yeah, and then the Fraternal Order of Police, they're now demanding an apology for that. But kind of piggybacking off of this defund the police movement, Stacey Abrams, she spent more than $1 million on private security in 2021, despite her support to defund the police. So my question here is, how in the same breath is she going to pay boatloads of money for private security, but then try and take away the security, that sense of security that the community and the public has with police?
Well, it's a tale as old as time. Democrats doing one thing and saying another. I believe it was Representative Cori Bush who said much the same thing. Her life and her work was too important, so she needed private security, and the rest of us needed to suck it up and defund police. But the Democrats are going to pay for this come November midterms, and they're going to start realizing how badly they're going to pay for this, probably starting in early summer. And then they're going to attempt to gaslight us into believing that they aren't for defunding the police, that they aren't for soft on crime policies. But the American people are watching, and we are paying attention. The sad thing to me, though, Todd and Carly, is how many Americans are going to be hurt or killed while we wait for Democrats to wake up and see what's happening in our cities. We can't just wait for them to see the political liability of all this. We need to let them know that this needs to be handled urgently because it's a matter of American safety and not political.
And before I hand it off to Todd, I'd like for both Psaki and people like Stacey Abrams to tell this to the mother of that 1-year-old who was shot in the head in the Bronx a couple of weeks ago, that they wanted to defund the police and take their security away from them.
It's like we live in two different worlds. Meantime, Tomi, speaking of living in different worlds, your former governor, Gavin Newsom, your buddy, says he only took off his mask to take a photo with basketball legend Magic Johnson, but fan cam footage contradicts him. Turns out he had that mask off a lot there at SoFi Stadium during the NFC Championship game. Here he is defending himself.
I was trying to be gracious, and I made a mistake. I was trying to be gracious and took the mask off for a brief second, but no, I encourage people to continue to wear them.
I almost said I made a mistake. He kind of went there, then didn't. At this point, Tomi, should we expect anything different from Governor French Laundry?
Listen, you cannot hide from that fan camera, but I think it's really important that Governor Newsom broke some news to us that you can't spread COVID while taking a photo. That's a wonderful piece of health and safety advice that I'm so glad that we're hearing from Governor Newsom. He's lying to the American people. And let's keep in mind, meanwhile, the American students, especially in his home state of California, are now expected to wear medical-grade masks as if they're going to school at Chernobyl. But he can have some fun with Magic Johnson and take his mask off for a brief moment or the entire game, because again, he is just too important, and his fun and his photo ops just more important than the comfortability and the learning success of American students, as well as the rest of us who, quite frankly, would just like to free our faces.
Yeah, who cares that kids are drawing pictures of themselves without noses and mouths? Who cares? As long as I can enjoy the NFC Championship game, all is good.
Or all the teachers with no masks behind them,
right,
and the kids with a mask on. It'll be interesting to see what happens at the Super Bowl at the same stadium in a couple weeks.
I can guarantee the players will be wearing helmets. Maybe. Tomi Lahren, we appreciate your time as always. Thank you kindly.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.